Good morning, marketers. We are back again with Yaro and Tom, and today we're going to be talking about some of the things that Yaro learned at VidCon 2022. So Yaro was just over there. For those who don't know, VidCon is, I think it's probably the most popular conference for YouTubers and creators. A lot of the big name YouTubers go to this conference. They speak there, attend there, a lot of lessons there. So I was really curious to hear what trends Yaro might have heard about. He made a list here, so he is going to take us through some of these stories.
Yeah, thanks, Matt. So VidCon was awesome for starters. I've never been before. It's been going for like 12 years. A lot of kids there, to be honest. I felt like an old man on some level. It's kind of like a rock concert where you're going to see your favorite creators, and they're lining up for meet and greets and get a photo and sit in the audience. So there's thousands of the kids, and then I'm up with the industry people, like the old people in the in the talks. But to be fair, there weren't as many people there. Definitely attendance was down overall, and very much so in the older leadership sort of industry track, as it's called.
Yeah, I heard that they lost the last 2 years. They didn't do a conference for 2 years, right? So
they
it's
didn't.
Like 2 years, no conference, and then it looked like low attendance on this one. So, yikes.
Yeah. So they're basically bringing it back up and seeing how things are going. So this is not strictly from VidCon, but it does tie in a lot. So I wanted to share it with you guys. So Bilibili is the YouTube for creators in China, one of the bigger video platforms. There's so much going on in China. I'm not totally up to date with everything there. But what was really interesting was one of the YouTubers, an English one, or she's Russian/American now. Her name is Marina Mogilko. I followed her as the Silicon Valley girl for a long time now, watching her YouTube videos. Really great startup stories and talking about her own journey to start various businesses and things like that. She came over from Russia and had some success teaching English and running a whole business around bringing, I think, people.
Hey guys, my name is
into.
Marina.
Whoops.
I'm 33 years old, and
Whoops, sorry.
I can hear her right now. That's Marina, right? So I was watching one of her videos just recently one of her more recent ones called How I Built 10 Streams of Income by the Age 32. And it's your typical story, it's AdSense ads on YouTube, and she's got courses she sells in her business. But right at the end, I think it was, she mentioned it was something I never heard of. She has her videos translated and put on Bilibili. She's the same story as YouTube, right? You publish videos on this platform called Bilibili, and you can go check it out at bilibili.com. It says something in Chinese that I don't know what it's saying, but last time I did this search, her videos are showing up. Hey, maybe she's had them deleted. I don't know, but she was basically getting her team to take her English videos, uploading to Bilibili, and putting I think it's Mandarin subtitles, captions on the videos, and then earning revenue share. And obviously it's a great strategy for any creator to take your content, other languages, other platforms. Not every country is YouTube first. There's other countries that, for example, like China, has their own platforms. What I think kind of, is an important thing to think about as a creator is English is just one language and not even the most spoken language on the planet. So I was really blown away. I mean, the great thing about it is just repurposing, right? So it's her same content from years ago.
Interesting.
That she's now distributing on another platform.
And now it's all in Chinese? Let's watch this.
Yep.
Wait, it's in English? Oh, I think I could probably click
it's
something
just
here
subtitles.
that's going to give it Chinese. I see.
This was something that was certainly being talked about as a theme in VidCon, is this idea of two things. Creators are burning out, and they're really only succeeding on one platform individually. They can manage that themselves. And by using things like one of the big sponsors of VidCon, Jelly Smack, which you guys probably have heard of before, it's a business that goes to top creators and says, we will partner with you. We'll take your long form video content and we'll create a profile, your profile, your platform on Facebook or on TikTok, wherever you are not. And they do it 100% for free. I think they take revenue share. It's funny. It's the one thing they never talked about on stage at VidCon, but they take, I'm assuming, some revenue share from the platform traffic that they build on Facebook or whatever. But for example, on stage at a couple of the events, the creators were saying how they put all their effort into YouTube, and then Jelly Smack just takes their video and then drops it on Facebook and builds their profile there. And some of them have 1 million followers on Facebook or 1 million followers on another platform that they were not even touching before. And thanks to Jelly Smack, they're reaching other platforms. So I think the burnout aspect combined with the repurposing strategy, which Matt, I know you've always been a big fan
I'm big
of
on repurposing. I'm just curious,
you know,
is their whole thing about getting it to other languages, or it's just strictly other platforms?
Jelly Smack, no, Jelly Smack is not languages. I mean, I don't know enough about them to know if they're like, doing Spanish, for example. What they talked about at VidCon was, when they were promoting this, if you're succeeding on one platform, why not be on another one, but we'll do it all for you. And when I say that, they have their own editorial team. They have an AI, apparently, that is learning from not just one creator, but what's working for their entire client base. So they're in some ways better than any one individual creator because they're getting data on what's working for all their clients. When I say clients, PewDiePie and Mr. Beast are both clients of theirs. So this is not like you and I and Tom, none of us are getting on there. You have to already have like millions of people on your one platform, whether it's YouTube or TikTok or something. But it's leverage, right? So I think, and Marina doing this in China, I've not heard of that being done much. And we just mentioned on the previous episode, what was his name? The children's entertainment puppy, what was it?
Blippi.
Blippi and Billy, and Blippi doing the same thing in Spanish. So there's certainly opportunities. I thought about this for my own business years ago. I was like, I'm writing all these blog posts. Why don't I get them translated into other languages and just publish them as the Chinese version, the Japanese version, the Spanish version, the French version?
Yeah, this is really interesting. I actually did not know about Jelly Smack before you told me, because you did mention earlier that we probably heard of it. Did you hear about it before, Tom?
Not Jelly Smack. Do you guys know Sean McCabe? SeanWest.com?
No.
He just started something like this like a year or two ago, though. But he was just like an agency kind of doing it, and that the concept was the same. We'll take your long form content and make it beautiful and repurpose it and publish it in a bunch of different places. So conceptually, I like the idea. I just haven't heard of this Jelly Smack thing. It sounds pretty cool. I
think I was looking into Jelly Smack's valuation. It's not 100% clear, but there looks like they're close to 100 million based on raising funds. So I feel like, because there's a lot of agencies that will do it for you, but not many that have taken this model, which I think is very smart, going to existing established creators saying, we'll do it, we'll cost you nothing, you've got great content, let's repurpose it for you.
Interesting. Because we're doing all of our repurposing ourselves right now, right? So I'm just curious, like...
Yeah, well, you get big enough, it'll be done by Jelly Smack.
Yeah, I just wonder, because it's like, I'm going to say not that much work once you set it up, like to hire a team that does it. It's kind of interesting, but maybe they have some unique advantage. I'm just curious, like what else they're doing besides kind of, repurposing the actual content and publishing it, that sort of thing. Because that process is not that hard for, YouTubers got money. They could hire someone, hire an agency.
Yeah, I mean, there's that argument, but I think the hands-offness of this, the editing is especially good, apparently. Like they have very high quality editors because they're paying them a lot of money to do this for the best of the best in creators. Yeah. So yeah, it's a good business model. And I want to mention this just because I know this about Marina as well. I got to find an article we can share about this. She, as far as I know, is the first venture-backed individual creator, as in a venture capitalist said, I want to buy a percentage of whatever you do in the future, and I'll give you $1 million now cash to own 10% of Marina's stuff. See if I can find that article about her. I don't know if this has become like she's a one-off, because I don't hear about this being done by anyone else, and obviously now we're in a bit of a downturn. I don't know if
I remember the guy from
venture capital.
He does like men's stuff, like men
Aaron
stuff,
Marino.
but he was on Dragon's Den. Is that his name? Yeah, he was on Dragon's Den, and then I think it was like Kevin O'Leary. He was pitching some product he was promoting.
He's like, I want a part of you.
I want to have. Yeah, exactly. And then they said no to it, right? But yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's funny because it also reminds me of like idiocracy a little bit, where they have like their names are like the brand names. It's like, oh, this is KFC, or this is like eventually that corporate sponsorship will get to the level where people will change their names to the brand sponsor. I'm not saying it's at that level, but I think it's fascinating, like where this money's going just to get in front of the right audiences, because they can't do it through mainstream channels anymore. So if they can own or piggyback off of these individual content creators, it seems like an obvious trajectory.
Yeah, so just to read out the title here, Marina Magilko, YouTube creator who got 1.7 million in funding. So she received 1.7 million in funding from Slow Ventures. In exchange, the VC firm will receive 5% of all her earnings for the next 30 years.
Wow.
Would you guys give
That's
up the next 30 years of your 5% of your
I
earnings?
wonder how many subscribers she had or what her audience size was when she made that deal.
Well, according to this, her Lingua Marina, which is her language YouTube channel, 5 million subscribers and 220 million plus views. And then her Silicon Valley Girl channel, and she has another one as well, a Russian vlogging channel. So looks like around 6 or 7, maybe 6 million total subscribers. Plus, she's got a company, like an actual business that came over, from, when she got into the States. So
they get 5% of everything that she makes.
So if she launches like her own vodka brand and it becomes $1 billion company,
right.
they get 5% of it. Yeah,
This
so
is,
it's an interesting experiment.
It's very feudal in setup. It's like the feudal lords used to do this too with the peasants, where they get a percentage of everything that they make. So I find this fascinating that we're finally coming full circle. It only took us about 1,000 years.
Yeah, it's kind of like
feudal lords.
Yes.
What are we talking about here, Tom?
or artists having a patron. A Patreon kind of came up with the same thing. So
Well, it's fundamentally like, it's like you're almost selling a portion of yourself. Like there's some level of indentured servitude that is happening in this. And listen, it's an agreed upon, people are shaking hands, but if it's like 5% of everything, 5% of you and everything you make, that's an interesting arrangement is all I guess I'll say about that. I would do it, but it would have to be for the right brand. It'd have to be for like Arby's or something.
There's another podcast where the venture back, the company itself that did the venture backing of Marina talks about, why they did it. And they actually mentioned this indentured servitude issue, whether it is that, what's your take on it? So yeah, this controversy here, I don't know. I don't like, I'm surprised she did it, to be absolutely honest, but then who knows what she had planned for $1.7 million in venture too. Like what was that going to
Yeah, and who knows where she was at, like in her business, finances, stuff like that, right? Like, yeah, it'd be interesting. Like if you're worth less than, $1 million and you could offer $2 million right now, you know what I mean?
It's very interesting. I wonder if that's going to be a new realm of law that's going to have to come up, because it actually reminds me of like landlord-tenant law and stuff like that. That's obviously evolved over the years. And like one of the things that like I think evolved in that space was the idea of like how long contracts can be for, like typically, like what's reasonable. Because again, you're going to be a different person in a few years. And like and this isn't signing your life away. It's not that grandiose. It's 5%. Like I get that. But like there's definitely some level to that where it's like in 30 years, like, is she going to be in a old folks home? Like, what is life going to be like at that point in time? It's a very strange thing because of the timetable. It's very strange.
Yeah, they talked about that, and it's totally open. As in, if she retires tomorrow, she keeps the money, and you're done. But it's an experiment. I think that's the way both sides were playing it.
Yeah, they also, just real quick, they also talk about like if you want to go to college, somebody could like pay your college tuition in exchange for a percentage of everything you make over the next 10 years.
I remember that. There was a company that was doing that, or a platform, right?